Not the game one result the Raptors were looking for. They did not play very well today. Now, you do have to give credit to the Boston Celtics. They did play an extremely good basketball game. And there's still a minute to play, excuse me. It's an 18-point game. But from the get-go, the Raptors were sluggish offensively. They were terrible defensively early on in this game. And when that happens and you get in that big of a hole, and every time the rest of the game, we made a shot, they made a shot. They missed shots, we missed shots. There was a stretch in the fourth quarter where no team scored for like 2.5 minutes. Imagine if the Raptors got on a little run there. Who knows what would have happened. But the Raptors were not good enough today, and the Boston Celtics, they damn near deserved this victory. They did. Now, Raptor fans, anybody writing this team off, go ahead. But come on, really? It's game one. And I personally believe the Raptors are still snoozing from the Brooklyn Nets. Because, yes, Boston did sweep Philly, but they were playing a much better opponent. And the Raptors didn't play any sort of competition against the Brooklyn Nets. They were cruising all over the place. Now you're playing a legit team, and it hits you right in the face. Great to see Kyle Lowry healthy back out there, but no matter what, you lost. Your best two guys offensively, Fred VanVleet and Pascal Siakam, were terrible offensively today. I'll get to Pascal in a bit, but bottom line, you didn't play well enough today. Not even close. And we know this team, final 112-94, there you go. We know this Raptor team can play a lot better than this. A lot better. They just got to go out there and do it. And you can't wait too long. Now, Raptor fans, we do know what happened last year in the Eastern Conference Finals. Raptors went down 2-0 to the Milwaukee Bucks, and every single person, including a lot of Raptor fans, wrote this team off. Now, yes, they did have Kawhi, and they did have Danny Green. I get that. But this Raptor team here, they're not just going to fall down and die after a game one loss. It's game one for a reason. Nick Nurse is going to go into the locker room and figure things out. Yes, so I understand Boston, the only team that did anything to the Raptors in the bubble. Then they do this in game one. Oh my God, they have their number. They're going to sweep them. Everyone's freaking out. Celtic fans are going to say Celtics in 4 because that's just what they do. But I'm going to sit here and stick with my Raps in 7 feel, because I don't care what happened in game one today. It's what happens throughout the 4 games, whoever wins 4 first, right? That's what, we win the next game, we're talking totally different. It's an even series, now it's best of 5. So the Raptors played a terrible basketball game today, and they have to be better. They know that. When Pascal Siakam, your number one option, goes 5 of 16, and Fred VanVleet goes 3 of 16, you're not going to win very many games, if at all, when players play like that. Now, we'll get to the other guys in a bit, but they were just not good. Those were 2 guys that were not good enough today. All right? Let's get to the numbers here real quick. Like I said, right from the get-go, you were terrible. Down by 16 after 1 quarter of play, 39-23. Like I said, your defense wasn't good. Like I said, lazy like it was against the Brooklyn Nets, but they were just a really bad team in Brooklyn. And the Raptors offense, you're so used to cruising against a terrible defense in the Brooklyn Nets. Now you're facing a really good defense in the Celtics. They're not ready for it. And it showed early on. In the second quarter, the Raptors dug in defensively. It did a job. They only allowed 20 points. Problem, your offense still sucked. You only scored 19. You still lost the quarter. If you told me that you give up only 20 points in a quarter and you'd lose the quarter, I'd be like, what team are you watching? But the Raptors were not good enough. They were down 17 at halftime. It was a 12-point game. At one point, with like a minute to go at the half, and we're like, hey, it's right there. But then a quick little 5-0 flurry gives them that 17-point lead, and it evaporates. At one point, they got it down to like 9 or 1 point after being down by like 22. The Raptors had their opportunities to come back, but they just could not do it. Third quarter, Raptors were actually +2, 31-29, but that's not really what matters. The fact that you got it down low, you got it to within like 12, but again, you couldn't do anything with it. They got it back up to 15, and you were down by 15 after 3 quarters of play. And then the fourth quarter, like I said, the offense didn't get anywhere. You scored 21 points. You didn't get anything, right? It was just a terrible game all around for the Toronto Raptors. They know it. We know it. The Celtics know it. And We know Game 2 Toronto is going to look a lot different than Game 1 Toronto. We know that for a fact. Now, how good is Game 2 Raptors going to look? I have no clue. But I know they're going to be better than this. Let's get through these terrible numbers for today's ball game. They shot 47% from the field and 44% from three. He gave it 17 threes. Raptors, 37% from the field, 31 for 84, and 10 for 40 from three, 25%. I got to say, two of those threes were like, late game, doesn't mean anything type threes. Terrible offensive game. Free throw shooting, 22 for 29 from the free throw line, 76%. They were 81. Rebounding, you out rebounded by 10. Like I said in my round 2 preview. Yeah, they're not a big team, but they get on the glass hard, and they showed that today. On the offensive glass, Raptors won that category though, 7-5 and 22 assists. Again, when the Raptors are cruising, they move the ball extremely well. They get the 25 to 30 mark and maybe even plus 30, but they didn't get it done today. 10 steals to their 8, 2 blocks to their 4. We only had 14 turnovers. They had 22 turnovers. Points in the paint, Raptors were plus 10. Second chance points, you were plus 5. In the fast break, you were only minus 3. But the problem was, you didn't make your shots. All the ins and out details look okay. Like, hey, the Raptors didn't play a terrible game. But they made 7 more threes. Do the math. 21-point differential from 3-point shots. It's not good enough. You got to make your wide open shots. Now, the Celtics, like I said, did play an extremely good defensive basketball game for most of this game, for as long as they needed to be. And the Raptors, when they got their opportunities, didn't take them. And they didn't make them. The NBA is a make or miss league, period. And the Raptors missed a lot, and the Celtics made a lot. And that's how it happened today. Now, like I said, I don't expect this team to be this bad the rest of the series. The reason being, your top scorer today was Kyle Lowry, who had 17. He shot 5 of 12, had 6 boards, had 8 assists in the game, shot 6 of 9 from the free throw line, 1 of 5 from 3. He had a steal in the ball game, had 5 turnovers, was a minus 5 on the floor. Again, Lowry wasn't terrible, but it wasn't great. The 5 turnovers is brutal. Like I said, the Raptors had 11 total, or was it 13 total? It was 13, wasn't it? 14 turnovers, excuse me. Lowry had 5 himself. And let's get to Pascal Siakam. Had 13 points, 3 boards, 2 assists on 5 of 16 shooting, 3 of 4 from the free throw line, was 0 of 3 from 3, 2 steals in the game, was a minus 20. OG had 12 points and 7 boards, 4 of 6 from the field, 3 of 4 from the free throw line, 1 of 3 from 3, had 2 steals in the game, was a minus 21. Marc Gasol, 7 points, 6 boards, couple assists on 3 of 7 shooting, 1 of 2 from the free throw line, 0 of 3 from 3, had a steal in the game, and was a minus 18 on the floor. Fred VanVleet, 11 points, 4 boards, 8 dimes, shot 3 of 16, was 2 of 11 from 3, was 3 of 4 from the line. He did have 6 steals in the ball game, was a minus 28. Your starting unit was awful. Pascal Siakam, okay. I wanted to go through all those guys real quick before I get back to Pascal Siakam, because that guy, as I mentioned in the preview, Pascal, they don't have shot blocking inside. They may be long, but they don't have shot blocking inside. Get in the paint, body them. Instead of taking these mid-range J's or catching the ball up high and trying to do some fancy stuff and allowing them to double you, and then you try and take a shot. Stop with this. Get in the paint, body a guy. If it's not there, kick it. Just make smart shots. Because he was 5 of 16. He missed all 3 threes. He was not good from mid-range to outside range. He was terrible. Get in the paint. Why was Pascal so successful last year? And don't say because he was the second option to Kawhi. He was, but he was in the paint constantly. Whether it was out into the run or whether it was, off ball, driving to the lane, getting guys in tough situations and having Lowry and VanVleet hit him in the paint, inside, making it happen with his big body, big frame and long arms. But he doesn't do that now. Yes, he's the number 1 option, but that doesn't mean you have to be an all-around stud. Play to your game. And he's not doing that. Now, Fred VanVleet wasn't any good either. Like I said, 3 of 16 was 2 of 11 from 3. That is awful. Now, how many times are you going to see Fred VanVleet shoot like that? Not very often. But what I do know is your two best scorers, let's say, of Fred VanVleet and Pascal Siakam. You can argue about who the better scorer is. I don't care who's your second scorer, but they have to be your best guys. And in this game, they were your worst offensively, taking shots. And let's get to the bench. Like we talked about in the preview, the bench is the strong suit for the Raptors. Norm Powell, 10 points, 1 board, shot 4 of 12, was 2 of 5 from 3. He was good from beyond the arc, but he was 4 of 12 from the field. Had 5 fouls in 27 minutes. I think he had a span of 3 fouls in 3 minutes or some craziness like that. He was terrible. And he was a -5 on the floor. Serge Ibaka, 15 points, 9 boards, and an assist on 4 of 10 shooting, 4 of 4 from the free throw line, 3 of 7 from 3. He was your most efficient guy, and he played 26 minutes of work. But even though he was a -10. Terrence Davis played 13 minutes, had 7 points, 2 boards, and assists on 2 of 4 shooting, was 2 of 2 from the line, 1 of 3 from 3. He was a +9. Not really sure why you don't have him out there if he's actually working on the floor. And Chris Boucher, who I think in game 2 we might see more of, he played 4 minutes, had a couple points, 1 rebound, was a +5 while he was on the floor. I think it was more or less just garbage time you saw Chris Boucher. But the reason I say that is because we're talking about them being a smaller lineup and not really having shot blocking, right? Well, what that means is they're more agile, they're more movement, they're all, and Gasol is not that type of guy. He's not. So, we had a feeling that Gasol would have a tough time in this series. And Nick Nurse understands it. He wanted to play out his lineup in game 1 and see what happens. Clearly, it didn't work. So for game 2, don't be surprised if you see Gasol for less and maybe some Chris Boucher. You got length, you got athleticism, and he gives you more on the offensive end. Now, he's not as sound defensively as Marc Gasol is, as a big. He never won defensive player. He did win defensive player of the year in the G League, but not obviously in the NBA. So, would not surprise me if you tell early on in game 2 that Marc Gasol really ain't working. Don't be surprised if Chris Boucher gets some minutes, because Nick Nurse is a wizard. He'll find ways to make this team be the best they can. We have seen it day after day. And if you're not going to believe in this team anymore, fine. Don't believe in this team. That's fine. But if that's the case, don't come back to this team if they start winning. I'm here until they lose 4. Because I know what this team is capable of. But they got to show us the fight. They didn't show it today. They were still sleeping like it was Brooklyn. Now they got their wake-up call. Now wake up in game 2 and show us fight. If they don't show fight in game 2, then there's a real issue. But until after game 2, that's where I have a look and I'm like, okay, now I have an idea what this team looks like. They go out there and play a great game 2 and come away with a victory. I'm like, that's the Toronto Raptors. If they don't, then we're question marks now. This team has to be better than today, without a doubt. The Boston Celtics played great. Are they going to make 17 threes every given night? Probably not. Game 2, Tuesday. We'll see what happens. We don't know what time as of yet. Maybe it's been scheduled, it's still to be determined. I'm assuming we're going to hear that probably later on today, or not too long from now probably. But for the Raptors, look, you put game 1 behind you. Like I said earlier, you have to win 4 first. And the Raptors know that better than anybody else. Because the Milwaukee Bucks, who swept through the first round of their series back last year, and then won the first 2 games, then swept, I think it was actually Boston in round 2, then went on to face us, 1-2 straight, and they haven't lost. They're feeling great, and then, bang, hit a brick wall. Raptors found a way to get under their skin, to get a win, and then the floodgates opened. Boston hasn't lost yet in the playoffs. They swept Philly, and they've won game 1 against the Raptors. And the Raptors got to do is find a way to get a win, make them doubt themselves even a little bit, and who knows what can happen from there. Like I said, game 2 on Tuesday. We're not sure the time as of yet. I'm assuming since Dallas and the Clippers and Utah, if necessary, I guess. But look, we know what this team is capable of. I'm going to wrap it up with this. We know what these guys are capable of, and I have faith in this team. As bad as they were today, I have faith in this team. You don't become NBA champions with being flat out terrible all the time. You don't. They had a bad game. They were bad in the bubble against Boston. I'm not going to sit here and, get away from the fact that they've been bad against Boston the last couple of games. You also remember the fact that at TD Garden, the Raptors beat the snot out of the Boston Celtics? People keep forgetting that. This team can do it. The question is, will they, and how are they going to do so? That's all that remains to be seen. Game 2 on Tuesday. All right? So you know what, guys? That is going to do it for this one. If you enjoyed the video and hated the game today, smack the like button to appreciate that. Hit the subscribe button if you guys have not already. Comment down below your thoughts on the game, your thoughts on the video. Would you like, would you not like from today's game? If you're the Toronto Raptors, I mean, there's not much you really can like from this game at all. Really, other than having Kyle Lowry be out there and healthy. That's really the only thing. Guys, I'm going to hear your take. I mean, everything. Go nuts in the comments below. Celtic fans, you want to say, let's go Celtics, Celtics in 4. Go ahead, do so. I mean, we know Boston fans love to do that kind of stuff, so that's fine. You guys go do that. I thought the Celtics played a great game today, but I don't have time for people who do that kind of stuff. That's just my personal opinion. All right, Twitter is down below for myself. Follow up, send me a DM, do all that great stuff. Also, the Instagram link is down in the description below. Follow up, send me a DM on Twitter. Follow up and send me a DM on Instagram if you guys are up for it. Let me know what you guys think. All right, and I will talk to you guys Jay's Edition a little bit later on as they're taking on the Baltimore Orioles in Game 3 of that 4-game set. Jays actually so far through 3 innings do not have a hit, but we've seen that before. Not to worry, down 1-0 right now against the O's. We'll talk to you guys post-game against the Orioles. Game 3, I don't even know what I'm talking about right now. Game 3 against the Orioles going on right now. I'll talk to you guys post-game there. As for the Raptors and Celtics, like I talked about, Game 2 is on Tuesday as the Raptors look to rebound and get back into the win column and even up the series at 1 game apiece. They can do it. Let's see if they're going to go out there and put words, because we're probably going to hear after the game, oh, terrible game. All right, that's great to hear. You guys understood that. Now get out there and do a job. Tuesday, Game 2, Celtics, Raptors. All right, so you know what, guys? Thank you guys so much for listening. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Oh, holy smokes. Thank you guys so much for listening and watching. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. We'll talk to you guys then.